All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Today, we have a really strange one for you.
Yeah, it's a little eerie.
I mean, have you ever heard of something like this happening?
Yeah.
I you go to the hospital, right? And the next day you're found dead
Outside the hospital.
outside the hospital. Like, what is going on?
That's wild.
Okay, so this is Loira Fells, and this is all coming from a file simply titled "Sweet Elderly Woman Found Unalive."
Okay.
And it's Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. And as always, the investigation is ongoing, and we are trying to figure out what is happening here. So what do we know about Loira Fells?
It sounds like she was a woman of routine. So she worked at Costco and was known in her neighborhood for feeding stray cats.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a tragic thing to think about,
Oh, that's so sad.
This gentle soul lost in such a confusing and disturbing way.
Yeah, and it makes you think like all the people that you know.
Right.
I mean, what must her family and friends be going through?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get into the timeline here. So on Sunday, January 5th at 12:23 p.m., Loira was transported to North Kansas City Hospital by the Kansas City Fire Department.
Okay.
But here's the thing. There's no mention of why she needed an ambulance.
Right. So was it like a heart attack? Was it a fall? Did somebody call 911 for her?
Right.
Like, we need to know why she was admitted could help us figure out what happens next.
Yeah, and things take a dark turn.
Yeah, they do.
On Monday, January 6th at 9:04 a.m., Loira is found deceased outside an office building on the hospital campus.
So it's not just that she was found deceased, it's that she's outside.
Right.
Why would a patient, especially somebody who maybe needed an ambulance just the day before, be outside
Yeah.
the hospital in the first place?
And the source says there's no visible trauma.
Right.
What does that even tell us?
Well, I mean, it rules out certain things like an assault or a car accident, but there's plenty of medical conditions that could lead to death without leaving obvious external signs. So think about things like heart failure,
Oh.
a stroke, even certain types of poisoning.
Wow, this just gets more and more perplexing.
Yeah, it does.
The hospital, for their part, has released a statement saying they are cooperating with the investigation, but they haven't provided any other details.
Of course, classic no comment. It's understandable given like the legal implications.
Right.
But it certainly adds to the mystery. So what procedures do they have in place to track patients? Are there security cameras that could shed light on Loira's movements? And what about her belongings were they found with her? These are all questions that investigators are going to have to answer.
Yeah, listening to all this, I keep thinking, if I were investigating this case, the first thing I would do is try to understand her medical history. Like, was this a sudden death?
Right.
Unexpected? Or were there underlying health issues that could have played a role?
Exactly. Her medical records are going to be absolutely crucial in this investigation. It's like putting together a puzzle,
Uh-huh.
The more pieces you have, the clearer the picture becomes. But right now we're missing some very important pieces.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, like, what if somebody had been paying closer attention? Could her death have been prevented?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's often what drives these investigations.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding out what happened. It's about trying to prevent it from happening again.
So to our listeners out there,
Right.
what do you think happened to Loira Fells? Was this just a tragic medical event, or is there something more to uncover? This case is far from closed, and perhaps some of you might hold the key to unlocking the truth.
Thank you for listening to Justice for the Souls podcast.